Good morning. We are the MailIn podcast. Welcome back. Bienvenue. However you want to call it. We don't have Babel this week for the read, but we could, based on my French there. Sally, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm trying to inject some life into the room. We have a little sleepy studio this morning.
We do. Well, it's kind of like a sleepy morning. It's a little chilly outside.
Oh, it's so nice. Big day today.
Randy
Sally.
recovering from a stomach issue.
I know, and you know what's tonight? If you're listening to this podcast, it'll be over. But tonight is Randy's 3-year Washed Media anniversary dinner.
Oh, and I know where y'all are going.
Red Lobster. Randy did the claws. I'm psyched.
What are you gonna get?
The cheddar biscuits or whatever they are, the cheddar rolls. Have to. And then we'll see on the entree.
Does Red Lobster have a lobster roll?
Ooh. Randy? We don't know.
What's your confidence percentage on like
Lobster in the middle of Central Texas?
From a food chain?
You know what? They've been around long enough that I'm pretty confident. Yeah. I'm not gonna pretend that it's gonna be the best like scallop I've ever had in my life. But I'm not nervous about it.
Shrimp or something.
Oh yeah. Stick with shrimp. No problem.
Chicken.
Pasta. I'll have the fettuccine Alfredo, please.
Yeah. Randy, have you been to a Red Lobster before?
Only once.
Okay.
Only once?
Which was in Northwest Indiana, so I can't imagine it was much better.
Only one? I thought this was like one of your spots.
You think we were fancy enough to go to Red Lobster all the time? Jeez, Brett.
Is Red Lobster fancy? We didn't have one. So famously in Saratoga, like Harbor Springs, chain restaurants weren't a thing.
Right.
We had Ruby Tuesday was our one like chain. It was the big deal. And then a 99. I don't know if that's even a chain. But yeah, we had to go to Clifton Park to eat all the big ones. The Buffalo Wild Wings, the Olive Gardens of the world.
Georgetown didn't have a Red Lobster, I don't think. Chili's was like our big haunt. It was like, ooh, going to Chili's.
Did you guys do the thing that I've heard that high school people in Texas do where like after high school football games, you would go chill at a Whataburger like parking lot?
Yes, we did do that.
That's wild to me.
I think partially because our guy friends were hungry. And they wanted to eat.
Played football.
Yeah. So we either went to Whataburger or senior year, for some reason, we went to Wendy's a lot. I think because Whataburger was like maybe too full of like posers. So we would go to Wendy's. They would eat. We would all like hang out.
Okay. That's cool.
I mean, it wasn't like a full blown like.
It wasn't a rager.
No, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use. From the real bros of Simi Valley. It wasn't like a kickback.
Full-blown kickback?
Yeah. It was like literally like our guy friends eating and everyone getting like a fountain soda and then us going to someone's house usually.
Gotcha. Okay. So it was more of like a stop on the way.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your Whataburger order?
It's pretty much always the chicken fingers with gravy as the dipping sauce.
Not bad. Not bad.
Unless it's the morning and then it's potato, egg, and cheese taquito.
Ooh. I've never done their breakfast. So
the taquitos
maybe good. I have done their breakfast. I'm sorry.
They're just breakfast tacos, but they're like steamed, I'm pretty sure is the way they cook them. They're like very soft. I mean, a honey butter chicken biscuit is probably the correct answer for the morning.
I've done that.
They're potato, egg, and cheese taquito. The potatoes are just tots, so it's
that's fun. You're doing a tater tot taco. Tater taco. I go with the either grilled or fried chicken sandwich. That's a classic.
Yeah.
But I've done their burger recently after hockey, which is like Thursday night at about 1 a.m. when I'm driving back from fucking Cedar Park to where I live, which is not close, and I can't wait to get to this Whataburger.
I mean, usually chicken fingers, but if I'm not that hungry, my go-to drunk order when I was younger was a large fry. This is actually still a shit ton of food, actually. Large fry, also a side of gravy dipping sauce. Just dip the fries in the gravy.
I don't hate that.
Gravy slaps.
Their fries are right up there with McDonald's.
I agree.
Right up there, because they feel like they're the same, actually, honestly.
Yeah.
I dip them in barbecue sauce myself. So good.
Mhm.
So good. Are you getting absolutely crushed by this time change like I am?
Uh, yes and no. I'm getting crushed because we have a kid, and
Well,
having a
yeah.
kid famously during a time change is not
Oh,
great because
they're not a huge fan of
although
change.
this one is easier. The spring forward is easier than
Okay.
it is on the fall back because the fall back, everyone wakes up earlier. I think honestly, this sounds bad. I'm going to be excited about it in like a week, but it being light out at like 7 p.m. is throwing me off. It's like
Oh,
I've been so tired, I just want to get into bed, but I feel bad because it's very bright out.
mhm.
Like I know I'm going to be psyched about that like next week when we can like go outside and go on walks and stuff, and like we can go out to dinner and be outside late and it's
Yeah.
like light out. But right now, I'm not liking it.
I can't. I love it. I can't do the dark mornings. I am
The dark mornings
so
I'm used
sleepy.
to, I think, because I always drive to work in the dark.
Oh, so it doesn't not a
It
whole lot of
doesn't really
change.
change for me.
Got
And then
it.
I go
Okay.
from the dark into like a bright ass OR. So
hmm
it's the same.
Man, just bright ass, cold ass OR.
Yep.
It's like working
Do you
conditions.
fill out a bracket?
I did. I have your Texas Longhorns taking it down, cutting the nets
Wow.
down. Yeah.
I haven't filled mine out yet. I gotta
Actually,
do it
one of the
today.
brackets I have is them over Purdue. Oddly enough.
And he's
Rand, did
saying
you hear
go-
Randy's prediction for his Purdue Boilermakers? He
going
shows
out first round?
they're going to go out and buy the Sweet 16. Is that what you said? The first 2 rounds.
It's somewhere in there. Who knows?
Okay.
And he
Same
said
thing every
he
year.
said it is what it, he goes. It is what it is.
I mean, Randy, as a Texas Longhorn, I'm here to tell you that that is like the Longhorns move is like going out in the first round, usually first game. Sometimes we eke out a win in the first game, and then the second game before we get to the Sweet 16, we get absolutely rattled. This is probably the best our team's looked in a really long time.
Yeah.
And we beat Kansas twice in like a week. I
Mhm.
just don't. I think I want to believe that they have it in them to get to like the Final Four.
I think based on their season of adversity, if you will, there's like a little bit of a formula going on. I like their new coach too. I hope he gets a little bit of a chance to keep it going.
to not be
'cause,
the interim coach.
Yeah.
I know the Longhorns too well. I love them.
Mhm.
I hope we get to the end, the big dance.
The Baba Ganoush.
But I like we're gonna get beat by like some fucking 9 seed like game 2.
We'll see.
You heard it here first.
We'll see. Actually, we're going to go game by game on this MailIn podcast and break down every matchup.
Yeah, that's
Ready
what
for this?
That's what this podcast is about.
No, we're not.
Don't turn it off.
We're going to answer your questions. Subscribe on iTunes. Follow on Spotify. Tell a friend about the pod. Send a clip. Shouts to Adam, who's been clipping away. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio at MailIn Podcast. You can write in at the link in the description of this episode where it says write into the MailIn. Or just, I don't know, you can DM Sally or I.
Mm-hmm.
That works too. Hit up the store, washmedia.shop, and hit up the YouTube to see our lovely faces in like 4.5K. It's far too high def now, Randy.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you for the
petition that we
camera.
stop filming these. But
Thank you for the camera upgrade, but we need a makeup
Filters.
artist if we don't
Yeah.
have any filters going. Looking at you, buddy.
I think we need to get into it because some of these are doozies.
Let's do it. Hey guys, Sig Other's best friend got engaged in December 22. Same week of engagement, that couple decided they will elope June 23. Here's the deal. Told the friend group, no worries, just an elopement, so no worries on if you can make it or not. The invite, by the way, was texted. We decided we're not going as we have many other trips this summer, along with a Mexico wedding with the same friend group in August. Well, the tables have turned and the elopement has turned into a wedding. 160 plus invited and now formal invites sent out March 1st. The friend is now saying if we do not come, they won't be mad, but they'll be disappointed. Is it a trash move for us to not go or trash for this friend to flip the script from no big deal to disappointed in us for not going? Thanks in advance. Love y'all. We're
Eye
flipping
roll.
scripts.
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna take this as a guy wrote in. I don't know why.
I'd assume so.
So his girlfriend's best friend got engaged.
Yeah, sig other's best friend, girlfriend's best friend. Yes.
Okay. I've said this in the past. I think that, like, personally, I think that the person who wrote in is very valid in being like, no, we're not going. You told us that we didn't have to.
Yeah.
And also, you were really nonchalant about it and then completely changed your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree with that.
Yep.
But
here's the but.
It's the girlfriend's best friend. Is that going to like, and I've said this in the past, if that ruins your relationship with somebody, maybe you weren't really friends with them in the first place.
Yeah, we've talked about, I feel like that's a common theme. Like if these wedding hangups are tearing down relationships, it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
Or friendships or whatever it might be.
To me, this is like totally dependent on where the wedding is. If the wedding is like drivable, a few hours away, or like an easy flight that's not super expensive, then do it. Mm-hmm. But also, if it's going to be a huge hassle, don't do it. Not just for the sake of like appeasing these friends who flip-flopped. For me, I'm like, don't not go to a wedding that's in your own town just to make a fucking point. That's rude.
I have the follow-up. Wedding is in Florida. They live in St. Louis.
Okay.
So it's a good flight. Not a cross-country flight per se, but it's a flight.
It's a flight. Okay.
I tend to agree with you that I think I'm operating under the first nonchalant text. If I'm obviously as the guy who's like, now we're going to do this, and now it's another flight, and you are like, formal invites went out in March. It's not exactly you have a year to plan or budget for it.
Right.
I don't think it's a trash move. I think it's a trash move to say we'll be disappointed in you not going because you've already set these guidelines that, we're going to elope and no big deal. If you make it, great. If not, now it's turned into the wedding, like the wedding monster has caught the bride.
Right.
And now she wants to have the fairy tale thing.
Well, clearly the significant other, if it's her best friend, isn't even in the wedding, because that would be another thing. It's like, if you're in the wedding, you got to go, I guess, whatever.
Well, yeah. Actually, I don't even think it's mentioned here.
Right. So I think you make the effort to like look into it. But if it's going to cost, and it definitely is because it's 2023, like more than $1,500 to go, and you have already budgeted to do other shit, then like I wouldn't sweat it. But again, this couple, weddings cloud people's judgments, makes them very dramatic for no reason. If they're going to be upset about that when they told everyone literally 2 months before, like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, wedding, you gotta, I mean, you set the standard. I feel like there's a very limited amount of opportunity for you. Hey, we're going to have a black tie wedding. It's going to be in Italy. Like, if you can make it, great, but that's what's going on.
Yeah.
You get one chance to really lay out the land here. If you're doing a text, hey, we're going to elope, you can't flip the script. You can't change. I think you get one opportunity, one moment to seize everything you've ever wanted.
To be fair, I flipped the script on us. Like we had a big wedding planned, and I told people like 3 weeks before, like, hey, you want to travel cross country to come see us get married? And to that end, I was like, I'm not going to be upset if you say no. Like,
right. I think that's the key difference is like, I know this is flipping. I know if you can make it, great. I'm not going to be disappointed.
Right.
This person's straight up saying we're going to be disappointed is crazy when you're flipping scripts.
Yeah. Oh, that's so much undue stress. I think you look into it.
Sure.
And then you have even more reason to like send the text, be like, hey, we're really sorry. We just like, when you told us back in December that you were going to elope, we have since made plans in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
That it included like big trips that we're spending money on and vacation time on, etc. And it's going to be really hard for us to get to Florida. If you can make it happen, great. But I'm in the camp of like, look into it. And then you have a full reason to like the excuse of like, we can't financially or with time make this happen. But don't like not go to a wedding that's like in Houston when you live in Austin just because they said that we're going to get the elope and now it's a principal thing.
Agreed with that. If there's a flight involved, look into it. you had plans, you made plans, they flipped the script, bada bing, bada boom. Put a bow on it.
And like, send him a nice gift.
There you go. Pizza stone, perhaps.
Sure.
Engraved. You know what I would send as a wedding gift to this lovely couple?
This would be better as like an engagement gift, like get hot for the wedding.
Ooh.
With this.
Is it hot wedding summer?
Sure.
It's hot sponsored by Athletic Greens?
Sure.
I'm taking Athletic Greens every day. It has become a routine for me. It has become something that I do. It's like kind of like making your bed. You know, Navy SEALs say making your bed sets you up for the rest of the day. Well, I do that plus Athletic Greens.
Wow.
How about
I don't
that?
make my bed, but I do take Athletic Greens.
Athletic Greens is 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods. God, I always stumble over that one. Probiotics and adaptogens to help you start the day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things. I don't know if there's anything it doesn't do. I can't legally say that, but that's a lot of things.
Yeah.
AG1 is I guess what the concoction is called in my little scooper. Glass of water, fill it up. I had to change my water filter, by the way. Thanks for reminding me, Sally. Pop it in there, spoon around, down the hatch.
I take a couple ice cubes in mine, make it like a little cocktail.
Oh, okay. Maybe a lemon wedge or something like that.
No, but that's a good idea.
Okay. Lifestyle friendly, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. It also contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, or artificial anything, while still tasting good. And we all know it supports better sleep quality and recovery. You're taking a multivitamin every day sometimes, and it's important to choose one with high-quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. So here's the deal, Sally. Athletic Greens, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, like we mentioned. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D, plus 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/mailin. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/mailin to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Sally, you want number 2?
Yes. Okay. What's up, MailIn crew? First time, long time. What is your advice for someone in their late 20s who is feeling stuck, lost, despite having success? I'm 27 years old, live in the RDU area, Raleigh, Durham. Okay. Working for one of the top medical and research institutions in the country. Although I would consider my life to this point to be pretty successful with my job, marrying my wife, and building a home, I am feeling lost. I feel disconnected from my friends and family and constantly chasing a break in my job. Constantly chasing a break. My job is your standard 9 to 5, and I work remote most days of the week. My wife has started to pick up on it and is causing tension in our relationship. Me not wanting to hang out with her or show any interest in doing things. Do I need a vacation, a secret ayahuasca trip, or something deeper I need to look into? Much love.
Yeah, I was going to go with ayahuasca trip, but he mentioned it, so.
Really?
No. I mean, you can. That's a great way to switch things up, I think, but this was me. That when we talk about radically, look at the tattoo to boot, radical change begets radical change. This was, a comfortable, successful, doing fine, everything's going well.
Yeah.
But like you just kind of feel you get stuck, right? And it's something, especially now that's causing tension in a relationship, you got to change something up. Whether it's your job, whether it's your location. And I wonder if this is coming from a place of like, am I missing out on something? Do I wish I was doing something else? Do I wish I had followed a hobby or a dream, or like why? Like where is this coming from? Where's the stuck feeling coming from? Or is it too routine? Is like the salary too, you get your 3% a year or whatever? Is there something that's too routine about his life that is causing this?
Right. I think this is really normal for people at his age.
Quarter life crisis, right?
Yep, the quarter life crisis. I think for me at this age, I was very much living like weekend to weekend, trip to trip, because at the time I was working in the ICU, so I would work like 2 weekends a month. So all my life was literally measured in like the weekends I had off, and most of the time that was going somewhere. So because at that age I was either going to weddings or bachelorette parties or coming to Austin to visit Will or doing whatever. And so I measured my life like that. Like I was living in a suitcase essentially, and I felt very unsettled.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this manifests in a bunch of different ways for people depending on what's going on in their life. It's almost like he has everything he's wanted
And that's
or
like
was
kind of
told he
that's like
needed.
like now what?
And yeah, so I think first of all, I'm going to say what I always say, seek therapy. I think someone else helping you recognize first of all, what the issue is, like
Mm-hmm.
what the catalyst is for feeling this way is the most important step. And sometimes you need a professional's help identifying those feelings. I know looking back now, for me, it was that I was unsettled, that I needed routine. And I thought I was happy, like just living my life, going to all these things, being present in all my friends' lives and having a relationship and doing all this stuff. But I really needed like an actual 9 to 5 routine. So when I went to grad school, it like fixed a lot of it for me.
Interesting. Okay.
He might be the opposite. I think he's probably missing something in his life, whether it is like getting a new hobby or, starting to work out or whatever it is that he needs to do. But he doesn't, first step is like identifying what that is. And I think therapy is really helpful in that sense because it's like really getting down to so much of therapy is just being able to identify your own emotions surrounding things.
Yeah. And a lot of the time when I was in therapy, it was like, you end up answering a lot of your own questions yourself. It's kind of an interesting, like your therapist sort of helps you do that, helps you along with that. But I think that's something that I think this guy would end up feeling or end up doing is saying, oh, like
humans are really bad about identifying their own emotions. We're really quick to like put our emotions on other people or like tell people how they're feeling. We're really bad at telling ourselves like, okay, you're angry. Why are you angry? Like identify that. That's like the biggest thing whenever Will and I go to therapy. It's like, okay, you had this fight, but like, what was the cause of it? I'm like, well, you did this. But it's like, okay, really, actually, how did you feel in that moment? And is that why what is the reason you felt this way? So number one, I think going to therapy. Obviously, I think talking to your wife and telling her you kind of are feeling disconnected, you feel kind of lost, like letting her know what is going on, and that's why you feel pretty like blasé about a lot of stuff happening and you don't want to do activities or go on trips or whatever like that. But I think we get into this, especially at this age, but all the time, where you are just either you're like a mouse in a wheel, or a hamster on a wheel, just like going until you finally get off because something knocks you off, whether it's like some life event or something like that.
Yeah, the cog in the machine.
Right. Or we do these things where we're like, oh, I'm going to like plan this huge trip and I'm going to think about all that, or I'm going to plan this wedding and I'm going to think about all that. And then once that's over, it's so unfulfilling because you're like,
just gonna say that, like you can't just say I'm gonna take a trip I'm gonna do the Appalachian Trail or whatever, because it's like then you're putting all the eggs in the basket of something that's not sustainable, changing your entire mindset on things. Maybe you find something there, or you like kind of find yourself or whatever. But that's why I say like my initial reaction was like, oh, take a trip, but I was like that doesn't necessarily fix.
I think it can help,
it can
but
certainly
especially if you put, like you said, if you put all your eggs in the basket of like planning this thing, looking forward to it, and then once it happens, if you didn't get what you needed out of it, then you're like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah, this was
and
me in my road
searching
trip
for what's next.
Yeah, I did that. I was like, I'm gonna drive cross country, and like whatever happens, like happens. But I think you hit you said something earlier, Sal, that I think like crushed the nail on the head. What's like this guy is by on paper successful, job great, wife built a house,
Yeah.
he did what he was supposed to do. Supposed to in quotes, right?
Yeah.
And is not fulfilled by that. And now it's almost a disappointment. Like, what? Well, I did what I was supposed to do. Why isn't life just perfect in sunshine and rainbows? Turns out it's like a lot of things go into life. But
Yeah.
I think therapy's first step. He mentions this is something deeper you need to look into. Give therapy a go.
I think too, when people get to this crossroads in life where they're like, I'm unfulfilled, so they do something like get into a relationship they don't need to be in, or in this guy's case, like obvious next step for him would be like have a kid.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
that's the problem. People get in these mindsets where they're like, I'm unhappy, so let me like add something to my life and that'll make me happy.
Yeah.
And guess what? A lot of times, whatever you add to your life that you think will make you happy might in the short term, but that's never a reason to do it in the first place. So like I always say this, not I always say this, but I have thought this about people, like couples that I know that are like, oh, we're like gonna have a kid. Like we're gonna have another kid. We're having marital problems. We're gonna have another kid.
Like, what's the connection there?
Do you think that's like a good idea?
Yeah.
Like, you think that's gonna fix what's going on right now?
Why is that such a common thing?
Right? Or like somebody who just got out of a relationship who's like, okay, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna fix what happened. I'm gonna just get another relationship. Or like, I'm just gonna move jobs, or I'm gonna do whatever. I do think there is a point of making radical change to make radical change. But I also think you have to be self-aware enough to know like, okay, sometimes I might just need to sit in this for a second and figure out what's going on instead of just adding something to my life because I think it'll make me happy.
Yeah, there's
like, I feel like this was like at this age, I had a bunch of friends who were like, I'm gonna move to New York.
That's what I'm
moving to New York. It's gonna fix everything.
Radical
like,
change is one thing, but you got to make sure that radical change is like is going to be a good like. I'm not going to go live on a houseboat in the Mississippi River.
Sometimes the radical change needs to happen so that you can realize you made a mistake and that you did not need that change in your life. Yep. But I think people, especially in their mid-20s, look around and think either I have it all and now what, or the person next to me has it all and I need to like do what they're doing. So you're on one end of the spectrum or the other. And we make all these stupid decisions being like, I want what he has. Or this guy's like, damn, I have it all. And I'm looking at my single friend and like, I want what he has. And it's so much looking like at the other person, the grass is always greener, et cetera. And us just mimicking each other's lives because we think the other person's happy. And in reality, I think most of my friends felt like this at some point in their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially at this age, like probably 25 to 30, at some point felt this lost. And it takes really understanding yourself and the motivations behind why you feel that way to really like fix the problem. But instead we chase all of these like meaningless things to try to make meaning out of our lives. So I think having a professional sit there with you and just kind of go through some of that. It's a slow process. You're not going to like find the answer in a week. But I think
that's what
necessary.
the ayahuasca trip's for.
Yeah, the ayahuasca trip might help you.
Last thing I'll say on this is that RDU guy, 27-year-old, swing by Austin. Let's have a beer because I was here.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a good way to
and find comfort in knowing that everyone has been there.
Yeah. And this is a lot of people.
Yeah.
How about number 3, Sally? Here we go. What's up, y'all? I am newly engaged and starting to plan a wedding. Congratulations. But here's the deal. Yesterday, when I asked my parents about the budget, I found out that I got Monica'd. Friends reference there. Let me explain. I'm 30 years old, and my parents figured I would never settle down, so my dad spent my wedding fund on an 80s Porsche. Really cool car, and I'm genuinely happy for him. They're giving us a little bit of money, and while we're very grateful, it's not enough to even cover the cost of a tiny backyard wedding. Thankfully, my fiance and I have worked hard and have quite a bit of money saved up to throw our own wedding, but spending it on one night is a hard pill to swallow. On the one hand, that money could be used to buy something fun, to travel, or maybe even a down payment for a cabin in the mountains. On the other hand, this is something we only get to do once in our lives, and it's a chance for all of our close friends to get together and have an awesome time and celebrate. What's the move here? Love to hear your thoughts. She got Monica.
I mean, she really got exactly Monica. I think that's what her Monica's dad did. It's like he bought a Porsche. Okay.
Cool car though.
I think she answers it herself when she says, "My fiance and I have worked hard and have quite a bit of money saved to throw our own wedding, but spending it on one night is a hard pill as well."
Yeah, I get that.
I am of the camp, and I think many of my friends who are married and are older now probably would back me on this. Elope and use the money for something else, like maybe throw a cool party in your hometown.
Yeah. So sorry, keep going.
Like go somewhere, elope, take a fucking cool trip, take great pictures, spend a chunk of money on that, but not like an obscene amount, and then maybe throw a party at like in your backyard or at a local bar or something where everyone gets together and celebrates you and have it be low stress instead of spending like $100,000 on a wedding planner and a band and food that's marginal and a dance floor that has your initials like engraved on it with a light and a photo booth and all these things that no one remembers because everyone does that now. And then you're just one more wedding in the sea of wedding.
Machine,
exactly.
Man.
So you know what people do remember though? When you're in Italy on like the back of like a campcraft boat taking pictures and you look really hot and everyone's like, oh shit, Sarah did it. Look at Sarah over there. Her and her husband freaking eloped in Italy. They look awesome. I'm so jealous of their trip. I'm telling you, I mean, I literally had friends who did that exact thing and like eloped in Lake Como and everyone was like, oh, damn, they really did it. And then they did have a party in Austin. But like something like that is so much more memorable to people. And if not that the whole point is for the memories of other people, but that is what weddings are for. Because let me tell you, when you plan a wedding, you're not having fun. You think you're having fun. You're not having fun. You're
supposed to be having
out.
fun. This is fun. We're having fun. It's like golf.
You're panicking because someone showed up late to something, and it doesn't matter if you have a wedding coordinator or whatever. You think about the dumbest things, like the fact that it took an hour extra time to eat dinner, or that the band took a break for too long, or that your bridesmaids' dresses were the wrong color. They were a different shade of light pink than, the rose pink they were supposed to be. Those are stupid things to worry about. But those are the things that society tells you have to worry about as a bride. And I'm just telling you, save yourself the heartache. You think that's what you want. And maybe, I dreamt of my wedding literally since I was like a kid, partially thanks to friends and their whole wedding hoopla. And Lily and I loved getting bridal magazines and like looking at them. And I think now I look back on that and I'm like, even the 3 months that I spent planning a wedding that ended up getting canceled, like I was miserable. I was miserable the whole time. And you think you're like, I'm in the best time of my life. I'm engaged and it's just not like that.
Yeah. I mean, I have sort of like anybody who knows me knows I'm like, I love weddings.
Yeah.
Love weddings. And imagine myself.
You love weddings because you haven't been the groom yet.
True. No, absolutely. I'm telling you. I love it.
You're the one who's got
love
married.
Attending weddings.
Yeah.
Is what
it's so fun to attend weddings.
Yes.
So fun.
But I don't know what goes into planning a wedding.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes into being engaged. I think my mindset on this whole, like in an ideal world, what I would do, future tense, has changed.
Yeah.
From I want to have like a 400-person wedding and huge and still would want that, but realize the financial burden that comes with, and not to get morbid, don't have the parental support anymore. So I think I am kind of in the camp of like small wedding, celebrating marriage and what comes with that. and then big party. Like
Yeah.
somehow connecting those, not necessarily the same weekend, not necessarily the same area, whatever it might be, but having a big non-stressful party to go along with whatever. I basically I relish the opportunity because again with the parents thing, like realizing that life is short and getting everybody together
Yeah.
again is important to me.
Yeah.
Kind of just not selfish thing, but like that's important to me now.
Yeah.
Whether it's family, friends, you name it, just knowing that I won't get to do that again.
Yeah.
And knowing that that's
You're
what
never
they
going to have a party that's
Right.
fully focused on you. That's a good
Exactly.
point.
And so I still want that. And I
Yeah.
still want that to be big because I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of people that I care about and I would want to see and want to be there.
Yeah.
But I don't want the pressure of having to go up to every table and be like, hey, hi, who, boom.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a long way of saying that I think you somehow do both, kind of like we mentioned, where it's small this, big that, and still have the cabin in the woods.
Yeah. I think, I feel like I talk about my wedding a lot on here because we
Mhm.
get a lot of wedding questions, but the amount of time I spend thinking about my wedding that was 3 years ago is pretty much zero.
Yep.
And I loved my wedding, but like, I don't think about that today. And we have pictures in our house that are not even actually from our actual wedding. They're like, they were taken like 4 months later. I never think about that day,
Mhm.
like, except for our anniversary or when I talk about it on here.
Yeah.
But like, I totally understand. I think that's a great point. You are really, it's the one time in your life that everyone is coming to celebrate you. I do think that there is a better, less stressful way to do that. I think
Absolutely. Yeah.
having a party, not calling it a wedding, think about, and I know this for you, think about the way that you want to interact with people. Is it
Mhm.
like you in a tux going table to table, shaking hands, or is it like you at a giant outdoor space with a bunch of bars and like being able to just like casually talk to all
It
your
is
friends?
100% that. Me with a beer in my hand, going circle to circle, like
Right. And
putting
just
my
like
arm around
chatting
somebody.
it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And so think about how you want to interact with people, because at a wedding, you don't get to do that. You
Mhm.
get to like be whisked away to take pictures and this and
Yeah.
that. Like,
And I love being a part of that. I'd love not to. This is not like what would we do, but I think every wedding I've been to has been unique in its own right and just fun in its own way. And so I never want to poo-poo very traditional standard wedding setups. And the other thing I love about a wedding is the multiple day kind of arrangement.
Mhm.
So if you're not in it and Friday, you have the rehearsal dinner, it's fun, and then you go out, and Saturday you play golf or whatever it might
Yeah.
be. And so I love that aspect too.
yeah.
And would like to incorporate that somehow. But I think it's one of those things that the older I get, the more I realize what I would want. And obviously this doesn't.
Versus what society wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. You know what I also want, Sally?
Healthy meals.
Healthy meals and to cook the absolute frick out of a Green Chef meal tonight. I won't be doing that because it'll be at Red Lobster. But if I wasn't at Red Lobster, I would be cooking a Green Chef meal that I got in the mail actually yesterday.
Okay.
Green Chef is something that has made me like a better person. Not to be weird about that, not to get too deep here, but like I used to go take out all the time.
Yeah.
Or cooking like frozen fish sticks, basically. Like I had no cooking ability,
Okay.
never have, and just lived in New York. My counter space was about the size of this roadcaster to work
Okay.
with. So I was just like, all right, whatever, pasta and fish fillets. That was it. Green Chef has introduced me to becoming self-sufficient in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because they give you the tools to be your own boss. And what I mean by that is they give you the ingredients to make things and say, here's how you do it, not just a meal that's like, here, set it and forget it.
Right.
And so you learn knife skills. You learn what vegetables you like. You learn to cook,
You
basically.
played it.
And you played it. I played it.
Mine's
Still
coming
needs work.
today. I'm very pumped about it because
Ooh.
I have literally was thinking like I need to go to the store. I like got a meal plan. Like what am I gonna make? And I saw the UPS notification that mine was getting delivered, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. I don't even have to think about anything. Like, it's going to come to my door today. I'm going to make whatever is in my box immediately tonight. Probably do something tomorrow. We probably will go out on Friday, make it on Saturday. Like, I'm pumped. It'll be great.
How about some Thai style coconut shrimp soup?
Have you done that yet?
No, but I'm about to.
Okay. I don't know what's in my box. I don't know what's in my box. I kind of like a surprise.
How about some turmeric maple pork power bowls?
Honestly, everything's so good that I let them just choose for me.
How about
I never even like go on there.
Parmesan linguine with shrimp and bacon? Are you kidding me?
That's so good.
Mouth is literally watering. So here's the deal.
Now.
Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well, with dinners that work for you, not the other way around. It's got options for every lifestyle: keto, vegan, vegetarian, fast and fit, Mediterranean, and gluten-free. And their recipes feature premium proteins, seasonal organic produce, and sustainably sourced seafood. They're trying to get me with these tongue twisters.
Yeah.
Man. Expand your palate with unique farm-fresh ingredients like figs, dates, and artichokes. That is such a good point because my palate, normally a little more on the immature side, I guess. Green Chef has vastly expanded what I'm into as far as cooking goes.
Yeah.
And tasting goes. So here's the deal, Sally. Go to greenchef.com/mail60 and use code mail60 to get 60% off your order plus free shipping. Again, greenchef.com/mail60 and use code mail60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. Green Chef, #1 meal kit for eating well. You want the next one? Speaking of doozies.
This one is, wow. Sally and Brett, my best friend's wife texted me the other day saying her husband and she have an open hall pass system where they get to pick one person they can repeatedly hook up with, no questions asked.
Okay.
And that I was hers.
So
And
we're
one
not
of-
doing celebrity hall passes. We are doing
Correct. This is like just in the wild.
your buddy's wife.
Okay, great. I'm hers and wanted to know if I was game and when. I had no clue how to react, and I told her that her husband was my best friend. There's no way I was getting involved in anything, and we should not speak of it anymore. As I'm trying to figure out how to handle this with my friend, she sends me multiple screenshots of conversations with her husband where they discuss their system, and it turns out her husband is actively using his. At this point, I'd seen enough to know she wasn't trying to cheat on him and that their system was real and actually a big reason for why their relationship is so strong. But I mentioned that I'd feel better hearing it from him, to which she said that he doesn't know and couldn't know that it was me. That it'd be too weird for him if he knew that his wife's hall pass was his best friend. I feel like I need to stay out of this. Or if I were to get involved, I would at least need to talk to my friend about it first, which she has explicitly told me not to do. What do you think I should do?
Oh boy.
I'm not kidding you.
Oh boy.
Think that if I was this guy, I would be like, this is an elaborate joke you're playing on me. Like, I obviously know that people have open relationships. We
Sure,
have talked about
yeah.
it in the past.
Mhm.
But like, because it's his best friend,
You can't.
I think I think if this happened to me, I would be like, you are totally fucking with me. There's no way this is true. You have fabricated these screenshots just to
This
mess
is
with
like
me.
an elaborate.
This is a full-blown prank. Or like an attempt to like prove that I'm a bad person.
Right. I was going to say, is this like some sort of, is this a gotcha scheme?
So, okay.
Or is this the FBI?
I don't think that's the case. Like, that is just going so far to like
I have so many
fuck
questions.
with someone. The best friend for me is what? It's like, no. That's a hard no.
Hard no. This is a no across the board. Do not get involved. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not
Correct.
spend $200.
It's your best friend.
But-
Best friend's wife.
But does this, like, when this guy, say he went through with it, and then he gets a girlfriend, and he's like, hey, by the way, I'm in this like weird
Yeah.
polyamorous don't ask, don't tell situation. You'd have to drop it then anyway.
Yeah.
2, was there feelings here before? Like, did they know each other before the sig other than like, why are we sorting this out now? This should have been years ago. And 3, like, he's gonna find out if you do it.
Yeah. The best friend part makes it so messy. If you're just like mere acquaintances, I'm
fine,
gonna
yeah.
fully admit it's very hard for me to wrap my head around open relationships.
Agreed.
So I might not be answering that to the best of my ability. And people who are listening to this who are in open relationships are probably gonna think that I'm a prude or that I am saying things that aren't true or whatever. That's okay.
No,
I
whatever.
fully am gonna admit it's hard for me to understand that as a monogamous person.
And for me, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just
Yeah.
saying I think for me, my hard time with this totally stems from it being his best friend's wife. I
Mhm.
think if you are in an open relationship, at least for me personally, it would have to be somebody I like didn't know in the outside world. Because then
Okay.
that just really confuses your ability to like keep those things separate. Like to have just sex with somebody versus like an
Mhm.
actual relationship. And as this guy's best friend, you probably are around him and his wife a lot. So you already have like a rapport, you already have a friendship. So then to like add sex to it is only going to confuse like what is there. So you don't want to like start a sexual relationship with the wife and then somehow feelings develop.
Yeah.
Which is
it
a
sounds
problem
like there's
because
like
they're
probably
like run in the same friendship circle, obviously.
yes.
I think that's less likely to happen if it's just someone like some random that you met at the gym that you have like no outside relationship with.
Mhm.
If you're having sex with somebody randomly that you don't know, besides your sexual relationship with them, you're not going to like develop feelings as easily as somebody that you're around all the time because it's your husband's best friend.
Agreed.
So that's already number one for me is like, don't betray your best friend like that,
Mhm.
even if this is something he's completely okay with. But number two is like, don't make it messy because what if you develop feelings for the wife or vice versa? That's
Yeah.
going to be just unbelievably messy. And three, I think, again, even if the husband is very cool with it, he probably wouldn't be cool with it if it was his best friend.
Correct. If that's why she's like, oh, he can't know about it.
Right.
Do not even consider this.
And I think being very honest with her of like, I'm not comfortable with this because
Yeah.
Sam is my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to, I value our friendship and my relationship with him more than I want to have sex with you. And,
Bottom line.
And also your friendship.
Yeah. Bottom line. Boom. Done. But man, what a situation.
And then I also am like, even when you end that or you like firmly tell her no, you're still like, shit, I like want to tell my best friend. Like, FYI, your wife wants to fuck me. I don't like.
And also, like, there's going to be a third friend who's like, hey, what are you doing? Like, there's no way this ends harmoniously for anybody. What if she gets pregnant? Like,
I don't know. It's messy.
Yeah. Don't do it.
And firmly say no, and then I guess try to get over it. I don't even know where you go after that.
Yeah, then they see each other at the cookout after he tells her no, and it's like, hey, how are you? Yikes.
Yeah.
Let's do the next one. What's up, MailIn crew? At the end of this month, my brother will be finalizing his divorce from a particularly horrible woman. Our crew would love to do something to celebrate this event. What's the best gift/way to celebrate a divorce? We doing divorce parties?
Why not?
Sure.
Screw it.
My buddy Harbs coined the dadslur party.
Like you're becoming a dad and you're having a little bachelor party?
Yep.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, like they went to Nashville, went to a hockey game, went out for a night.
Celebrate your wins and losses, dude.
Yeah. Divorce party. Hopefully it's not too financially horrendous, I guess.
Okay, I think end of the month, you don't have a lot of time. You don't have to do a whole weekend out of it. Like
no, it can be a night out at the very least. And if you want to do a
steak dinner,
2-day Vegas
with
trip
the boys,
yeah,
or a round of golf, or it's starting to get warm out. If you live in a warm place, a little pool day somewhere, like get a pool pass at a hotel, go hang out for the day with like a bunch of guys.
Yeah, just a bunch of dudes at a pool.
Well, I think you make it kind of like a new bachelor party, a re-bachelor party.
Oh, that's the word.
Re-bachelor.
Re-bachelor.
But you don't have to do a full 3-day weekend. You can just do like a 1-day thing.
Yeah, absolutely. One day, blow it out, get your buddy shit-faced,
Yeah.
get his Uber home, and then call it a day.
Yeah. I think that there's plenty of a fun activity.
And if you see Sally and her crew at a hotel pool, please buy them drinks.
I will not be at a hotel pool anytime
I just
soon.
remember you and Lily were saying the last bachelorette party you went to in Vegas. It was like, you're like, so where are the drinks?
At Lily's bachelorette party in Vegas, we were like waiting for people to buy us drinks or like invite us to their table. And I was so pissed. I was like, we are 30. We all make good money. Not me at the time because I was a student. Why in the hell are we waiting for these idiots to invite us to their table that we don't even want to hang out with? Why can't we just buy our own table?
Yeah.
Lily. I was like,
No
obviously
offense.
I can't. I'm 6 figures deep into student debt, but everyone else can. So I will happily glom onto that. But I am not going to whore myself out for a shitty vodka cran.
A $29 vodka cranberry. Ugh.
The worst.
The worst. Yeah, I think around it, you know what? Just make a day of it. Morning, I think back to, we used to call it like the Saratoga trifecta. The morning we get on the boat, water ski, wakeboard. Afternoon we hit the track, and night we go out. Or a golf round in the morning.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Have a big day. Re-bachelor day.
Yeah.
You'll need the next morning. So you know what you'll need?
Yeah, I think I know.
Liquid IV. It's not liquid magma, but it's liquid IV. If you're trying to improve your health, hydration is a great place to start. And Liquid IV is the hydration brand that fuels your well-being. You familiar with the hydration multiplier, Sally?
Yeah, I am.
Well,
It's great.
It's the one product you're missing in your daily routine if you're not taking it, which you might be. We get so much Liquid IV, it's crazy.
I do actually take Liquid IV daily. Usually, well, most days in the OR. Not in the OR, but like I go out, throw it in a water bottle, chug that, go back into the OR.
Bada bing, bada
Because I
boom.
don't have time to be drinking probably what I should be drinking, which is about 3 liters. If I'm in a long case, I have about 15 minutes to hydrate.
Well,
so I want to multiply that hydration.
That's why you need a stick of Liquid IV, because it, in 16 ounces of water, hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. Look at that. Contains 5 essential vitamins, including B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C, with 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. It's made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. I'm on like a Liquid IV at any time of day for any situation kind of kick. That's like my favorite part about them. They have the immune support, which is like if you feel a cold coming on, loading you up with vitamin C. If you just work out, perfect for rehydrating yourself. And then in the morning, there's the energy blend, the matcha energy blend. So yeah, you got one Liquid IV for anything you need. Or the morning after when you're feeling maybe a little down, a little groggy, perhaps. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MailIn at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MailIn at liquidiv.com. Last one, Sally?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to do it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I keep forgetting that I'm reading the events. How do you handle a bachelorette party dropout who hasn't paid for the Airbnb activities yet? Do we split the cost among everyone who is still expecting, or do we split the cost among everyone, or do we still expect this person to pay their fair share since everything was planned and budgeted to include an extra person?
I think there's a timing aspect here. If it's a week before the thing, they have to pay.
Yeah.
If it's 9 weeks before the thing, you eat their cost.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know what perfect, like, is it 2.5 weeks? Is it a month? Like, I don't know what that time frame is where the liability goes to the person that dropped out, but I know there is a time frame.
I think, I think the time frame, I think with like less than a month out, it's not unreasonable to ask the person who dropped out, like, hey, I know you dropped out. Is there any, like, we were kind of expecting you to pay for the Airbnb. Is there any way you'd, I feel like when this has happened in the past, the person is either like dropped out way early or it's been right before and they're like, I'll still cover my Airbnb.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's the same thing with any cancellation policy. It's like within a week, you can't get your money back. Like that's just how it works. Because they can't rebook it.
Right. I think. Yeah, obviously case by case basis. I think if they dropped out and they haven't paid for anything yet, like for us, we always had to pay for the Airbnb up front.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have not paid for that yet, or maybe somebody put it on one card, I think you just try to let that person slide.
Okay.
But I also think, like, for me, it's one thing to like cover the cost of accommodations that you're not attending.
Yep.
I think it's a different thing to like have to pay for the party barge or whatever.
So I was just going to say that I think you're remain on the hook for the accommodations because that's tough to get out of or whatever.
Yeah.
The party barge or the party bus, I don't think you're liable for.
Yeah.
In a dropout situation.
Unless
again it's like the day before.
Right. But it's also like, what's the reason for cancellation? Because if they're canceling because like they can't afford it or someone got sick and they need to stay home or whatever, like don't be a dick and make that person pay.
Right.
Hopefully whoever cancels, it doesn't sound like this is the case, but if you cancel and you're leaving your friends in a lurch, I think it's like the nicest thing to do to be like, hey, I'm still going to cover my accommodations. Like I went to a 40th birthday party in December and I had to leave a day early. I still paid for the night that I was not there. Because I was like, I decided like a week before that I needed to leave a day early or that I figured out a week before that I had to leave a day early. So I was like, I'm not going to make all of y'all cover that. But at the end of the day, it's also like probably $20 a person.
Right. Yeah. Don't cry over spilled milk. Is that the saying? Like, it's one thing the Airbnb if it's $900 a person or whatever it might be. If we're splitting hairs over the cost of a tea time or whatever it might be,
right?
Lay off a little bit.
Case by case basis. I don't think it's wrong to ask the person who dropped out, like, hey, I know you recently dropped out. We're only a couple weeks out. Is there any chance you're still going to cover any of it? Let me know so I can like recalculate everything.
Yep.
That's all you have to say.
Yep, that's fair. And hopefully there's some sort of like obligation on their end to be like, okay, yeah, I'm still going to pick this up. Because, you plan and budget and people have already paid or something, that gets tricky.
Yeah.
That's going to do it, Sally. Do you have any shower thoughts?
I don't have any shower thoughts. Do you have shower thoughts? I do. Okay, let's hear it.
I do. So I was running low on wine. You kind of lose or you get down to the last couple bottles in your collection here. I think what I'm going to do moving forward, and this is by no means gaming the system, but are you familiar with these like wine subscription services? There's like First Leaf as an example, or whatever.
Wink.
When you move somewhere, you get like a little card in your mail. There are so many of these not wine clubs per se, but their introductory offer where you get like 14 bottles of wine for $60 total.
Okay.
And then you just cancel it a month in.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to do that for the rest of my life. Because
are there that many subscriptions that you can get away with that?
There's at least 5.
Okay. But are they wines you want?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I'll let you know how the quality of Nat Geo wines, literally National Geographic's Wines of the World program.
Wow. I want a full review.
I'm getting 14 bottles of wine and 2 crystal stemware glasses for $59.99 on their intro offer. Now, you just got to remember to cancel it, but...
How much does that normally cost?
It's like a $300 value.
Okay.
So we're not talking the nicest wine in the world, and I'm still going to go to the Central Market. What, Randy?
What is the next month cost?
He said $300.
You said $300 value.
Oh, value.
That sounds like some infomercial. Like, oh,
$29
value. So
I have already
like
I already put in my calendar to cancel this thing. So I don't. No, I'm
but
canceling.
What if you don't? What is it?
I don't know. All
right.
I'm just saying, like, how do we know these are good wines? How are we not?
That's fair.
What if this is like the Red Lobster quality wine?
Then National Geographic is going to get a strongly worded email.
Okay.
I don't care that you're selling me wine. Don't sell me shit wine. I still would go to Central Market though and get solid wines.
I mean, the wine that we were part of a wine subscription for a little bit, but it was like through a actual.
That's the
vineyard in
Napa thing, right? Is everybody gets got when they go
but
to
it
Napa.
was expensive as hell.
Yeah, no, that's.
I mean, for good wine, but it was expensive. You're not
Right.
like saving money. You're just getting a shipment of wine to your house.
Correct. Yeah.
That you like wouldn't go out and buy that expensive of wine probably ever.
Yeah.
But you are drunk in Napa, so you're like, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah, like, oh, sign me up.
Yeah.
Introductory offers, Sally. I'm just going to be living on them.
Okay.
There's Naked Wines. There's First Leaf, like we talked about. There's Nat Geo Wines.
You're really ruining our ability to ever be sponsored by any of these people because you're just gaming the system.
If any wine club would like to, wine subscription service would like to sponsor the MailIn podcast, we will be all in. And I will not just do the introductory offer. I will get Brett Merriman promise here. I will fully engage in the subscription.
Okay.
And not like a sponsored one.
That's
like
a real
I'll buy
good
it.
sell. I'm sure people are going to jump on that offer.
That's going to do it for us, Sally. Do you have anything else before we bounce?
That's it.
We are the MailIn Podcast. Please subscribe, rate 5 stars, review, and tell a friend about the show. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio at MailIn Podcast. Sally, where can the people find you?
Sally deFries on Instagram and Twitter.
I am Brett Merriman at Schmerriman on both of those platforms. We'll see you all next week.